It's time now for Call of the Wild, the official weekly coaches show of the Wenatchee Wild. Stay up to date with your team all season long with Call of the Wild. With head coach and GM Bliss Littler, here's the voice of your Wenatchee Wild, Arch Ecker.
Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Call of the Wild, your weekly Wenatchee Wild coaches show. I'm Arch Ecker alongside Wild head coach and GM Bliss Littler. The Wild have just returned from a 3-game road swing through the Interior Division and are heading into the final home stretch with just 5 games left in the regular season. We'll talk about this weekend's games and a foreshadow of the games that are coming up, including a big pair of games at home against Langley this weekend. We'll start off with this road trip we just got back from, and it was Friday night. We started off in Vernon against the Vipers, a team that we had seen twice this season, had some success both times against them early on. And the first time to play them in their building this year. A scoreless first period, but in the second period, the Wild kind of found their gear and started to hit stride, took the lead, and rolled with it.
I thought the first period was very good. I thought we had many good chances to score. Just had a tough time getting her in the net. The goalie played well, and it was a pretty good period. Second period, though, I thought we capitalized. Power play goal was nice, but we capitalized. We made some plays, won some battles around the crease, and overall, I thought it was a very good period. That we came out in a tough environment against a very good team and put a couple good periods together.
You know, the first goal, Matt Baker on a wraparound after some nice work down low on the forecheck to help create that turnover, but you know. For people that watch that don't really play the game, wraparounds look easy, but they're just not. They're a difficult shot to finish and to have the strength to muscle at home on a play like that because the goalie got there in time.
Well, as you get around the net, I mean, you have all that momentum, but your momentum is carrying you one direction, and then to have the strength to tuck it, and sometimes to tuck it where the pad's there, you have to have more muscle than the guy's leg strength there, and it's a difficult play, and it's one that looks easy, you're right, but to pull off, especially when the goaltender gets his pad there, it's very difficult.
That gave the Wild an important 1-goal lead because the Wild, a team clearly, like most teams, play well when they get the lead and tend to feed off that and roll forward. And then, of course, the Charlie Combs goal, vintage Charlie.
Yeah, we've seen that 15 times this year. Walks out of the corner and snipe. I mean, nice goal. All around is good play, and it is one that we needed at that time.
Then you added to the lead and made it 3-0 when Jasper Weatherby got the redirection, the shot off the right wing boards from Chad Sasaki. Jasper Weatherby is a kid that's just been growing and developing. A nice little 3-game goal streak there for a moment on that redirection. He continues to work hard, but now he's starting to see the rewards.
He is. It was great to see him be rewarded with that direction. Or I guess misdirect, that he did the work down low, won a couple of battles, cycled the puck back, got himself to the front of the net, got his stick on the puck, and you're right, he's winning a lot of battles. He's turned into a very good player right now.
That's what you talk about when you address your play away from the puck, because if he doesn't have the presence of mind to not only send the puck around, but then to get back in front, because a lot of guys, they'll make the first play, move it up the wall maybe, and then kind of sit back and wait and see what their teammate does with it. But to aggressively move back around into position, that was a great play, and it shows the growth of him moving forward.
For sure. That again, having the wherewithal to understand that, work your way back to the net and really keep your stick on the ice. A lot of times, young players they keep their stick up in the air, but when you learn to score goals, you learn that keep your stick on the ice.
Anthony Amnitsky with another solid effort. Maybe we've been saying lately that some of his games may have been his best effort of the year so far, and boy, he turned in another gem.
Yeah, he's playing good hockey right now. He had some saves in the first period. They didn't have a lot of shots, but again, the saves that he had, he made some game savers or at least game changers. That he had one where he went from one side to the other. I had no idea how he got there. We were shorthanded at that time, and he stuck his leg pad out, and he made the save where you can see his confidence growing, and you can see the team's confidence in him growing.
Absolutely. Well, the Vipers were able to punch one in. There was a little redirection. It kind of bounced off of a body in front and went off to the side, and they got on the board. But the Wild ended up putting up the 3-1 victory and a huge win against a very difficult team in the interior division. Of course, we had the top 3 teams over the course of 3 days in a row, and then the next night we go into a very difficult building, the Penticton V's in that facility. They're a great team and a great barn. The atmosphere was amazing. We had the busload of people that had come up, plus the Wild Waha people that were there, plus other folks that just made the trip because of the proximity. There was around 100 Wild fans in that building, and it was a lot of fun.
Well, again, it was nice to see the support for our boys from all the Wild fans. But again, a great atmosphere to play in, and our fans helped create that.
Now, granted, the outcome, obviously not what the Wild would have liked to have seen. You come up on the wrong end of a 2-0 battle, but it was a good, clean, hard-fought battle between 2 well-coached, well-structured teams. And when you throw 2 guys in the ring like that, they're going to, sometimes someone's going to come out on the bottom end. It's just the way it is. Nothing to hang your head about in that game, though.
No. I thought in the first period we had our chances, and especially when we go on the power play, then we get a break, we get a 5-on-3, and we didn't capitalize at all. Our intensity was for 17 minutes. I thought our intensity was incredible, and for some reason we went on the power play, and again we have the top power play in the league, scored the most goals in the power play, and all of a sudden we have a chance to really draw first blood there, and for some reason, we lost our intensity a little bit, and to give them credit, they were very good on the penalty kill, and we didn't get anything on the power play there. So we went in the locker room and we gave them momentum. I think that we had it for 17 minutes, and I thought we were playing well, but I thought they gained some momentum off the penalty kill there, and we lost it on the power play.
So that one kind of slips away. You end up with the goose egg for the first time this season, but the next day you have a quick turnaround, get up early in the morning, an early breakfast, and a 4-hour or so bus ride across the trail against the Interior Division's number 3 seed. So again, a difficult opponent. But once again, the Wild responded well against the adversity that could easily be stacked up and written off as an excuse. The guys fought right through it and showed up ready to go.
Well, again, we haven't had to do a whole bunch of that this year, where you play a couple of games and then you play 3 games in 3 days with travel on each day. We haven't really had to do that, so we were pretty beat up. We're banged up, and I give our kids credit. They battled through it, not feeling 100%, but knowing that we wanted to collect a couple more points, and yeah, we battled hard. It wasn't the prettiest game we've played all year, but we found a way to win a hockey game, and in a lot of regards we played pretty well.
Jimmy O'Brien got that first goal, a redirection from the shot from the point by Slava Demin. Slava Demin has had a little bit of a resurgence. Seemed like he maybe hit a little flat spot for a while, but as I thought on Sunday he was a big contributor.
Yeah, if you look back the last 2-3 weeks, his play's getting better. It's rounding back into more of an elite player that's up and coming. And again, you have to expect that. He is a 2000. That it's a long season, and again, for the most part, his play's been pretty good all year.
Brian Williams ended up scoring the game-winning goal, and that particular goal, that's highlight reel stuff. Not so much. I mean, partly because of the finish, but the zone entry, you can't draw it up any better than that.
That's exactly how you want to draw a rush. That kicked it inside to outside, good middle drive, pulls the defenseman with him, leaves the far side open, and cross ice pass, and Brian takes care of it. But, yeah, that one's been worked on a few times.
Combs, Harris, and Williams working together for a goal. I think, if I got a nickel for every time I said that, I'd be able to buy you lunch today. At any rate, so the Wild, important win over Trail as they picked up the 5-4 decision there, but the reason it's important is because that allows the Wild to maintain control of their own destiny as they head forward with 5 games left on the schedule, winning 4 of the 5 games would result in a division title, regardless of whatever else happens. And it's always nice to be in a situation where you don't have to rely on help from anyone.
Always. It's always nice to be able just to count on yourself. And if you get some help, that's a bonus. But right now, we're still taking the approach, let's worry about who's next. Is it obvious the kids, they know that what's at stake? Yeah, they all know it. They know we're 3 points up with 5 games to go. And you try not to have them do all the math and worry about this and worry about that. That it eats up energy, and that's energy that we want to use on the ice. And so we really try to focus on, hey, Wednesday. Let's take care of Wednesday. We'll talk about the weekend on the weekend, but we need to, right now, our focus needs to be on Coquitlam.
You know, when you look back over the course of the weekend, I know when we're looking ahead, we always talk about the things that the franchise does to help the team be prepared. You talk about the good meals, the regeneration, the work that Drew does with them. Mm-hmm. On Sunday is when that all really comes to fruition, and you can see the benefit from all of those steps that are taken along the way to help give the players that advantage.
I think it's huge that we're very fortunate that Drew does an amazing job with the kids. I think there's a lot of trust that they believe in what he's doing, and it's something that the kids do daily with him with treatment. It's what they put in their body. It's how they train. And it's really just for a little bit of an edge, so at the very end there's still some gas left in the tank.
And they needed every last drop of that fuel in the tank as it came down to the last moments. Trail had pulled the goaltender, had the extra attacker on, trailing by 1, and the Wild were able to weather the storm and pick up the victory to move to 40 wins on the year, and that's always an enormous landmark, and one that the team hasn't accomplished often. It happened, but any team that wins 40 games in a year, it's a pretty special year.
It's hard to win 40 in a year. It's real hard too, and as much as you want to keep battling to keep our focus of winning the next one. At some point, we'll be able to sit back and say, hey, that's pretty good. But right now the focus is it's on the next one. But over having a long coaching career, you realize that it's not every year that you get to 40.
5 games left, and when you talk about the next one Wednesday night at Coquitlam, we'll talk about that, and then look ahead to the weekend against the Langley Rivermen when we return. This is your Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network. And welcome back once again to Call of the Wild. This is your weekly Wenatchee Wild Coaches Show. I'm Arch Ecker alongside Bliss Littler, and looking forward to this week ahead. Starting off on Wednesday night, the Wild will travel to Coquitlam to take on the Coquitlam Express. Now, the Express are a team that's been mathematically eliminated from the postseason, but again, with Barry Wolf at the helm, that's a team that's got some pride. They've got just 3 games left, and they're playing for fun. And when teams start playing for fun, then they're very dangerous.
Exactly. If we would have taken care of business that weekend in October, we might have a little more breathing room than we do right now. No doubt, when your team is completely out of it, you're playing for a little bit of fun, and coaches are not on you as much, that you relax, and some of the young kids develop, and it's going to be our job to get a lead early and try to take hope away right away. The quicker we can do that, the better off we'll be. And Barry's telling his guys, hey, the longer we hang around, the more pressure that's on the Wild, and let's see if they can play spoiler.
You've had a lot of success in your years on the bench. When's the last time that you can ever remember that you were at the helm of a team that was eliminated from playoff contention at this point in the year?
When's the last time I can remember?
Or has it ever happened?
Yeah. 1 year, I think in Tri-City, with 2 weeks to go, I think we had a lot of injuries that year. We might have been eliminated, but usually you're going in that last week. I think only there in the 1 year in Topeka the expansion team. And in Billings, we were always first or second. So I would, it's been a long time.
I was just wondering if you had any experience to draw on from having worn that hat, but at a glance, I wouldn't guess not too many times.
No, again, the one year we had a crazy amount of injuries. Right, we made a couple of deadline trading deals that we thought we were going to have a chance to go for it.
When you were where?
In Tri-City.
Tri-City.
And the day after the deadline, we lost, I think, 3 kids to season-ending shoulder injuries, and one was a kid that we traded for that came in and he played 2 shifts for us and tore his labrum. He's done, and all of a sudden it turned into a pretty tough row the rest of the way. But and again, kids have pride. Everybody plays. You want to win when you drop the puck.
So after the game at Coquitlam, you get to come back home, you get a day off, and then Friday and Saturday, it's the last 2 home games of the regular season, and you got Langley coming in, and now Langley, obviously the rivalry still simmering from last year, and kicks up a notch after they handed it to us our last visit in their building.
Oh, for sure. That again, we know what the situation was when we went in. And they had a chance to put the boots to us once we got down, and they put the boots to us. So I think a lot of our guys have Friday circled on their calendar, just wanted to redeem ourselves and play better hockey.
What does it take for Wenatchee to be successful against Langley, a team that's big, physical, and likes to play a heavy game?
Well, I just think that we have to make the most for opportunities in the power play, and they're going to come after you, but you know that it doesn't last. You can't throw your body around all night long like that and not make mistakes and not tire out. And we need to play in their end, throw the body at their D, and play physical against them. That if we play in their end, that's the best situation if we're playing in their end.
You have a team that has a lot of veterans on it, and guys have been around for a long time, and most teams at this level generally do, but how much do you have to remind players about taking retaliation penalties or what we call selfish penalties?
We talk every game about self and team discipline, but it's hard sometimes, especially where you've battled against guys for a couple of years in some cases, and some cases maybe a kid's played against each other whole life, depending where you're playing at. But it's tough. I mean, sometimes a guy gives you one, you want to give it right back, but as a veteran group, you really want to put the team first, and if you can do that, then you're going to have a chance to go a long ways in the playoffs. If you're more interested in retaliating and getting the last word, well, chances are that's going to end your season.
It's the second to last week of the regular season. Wednesday night we're at Coquitlam. Friday and Saturday at home against the Langley Rivermen. Friday night is Jungle Book night. There'll be specially designed jerseys worn during the game. There'll be an auction going on after the game along with the silent auction. Saturday, we've got the Wolfie bobblehead. The first 1,000 fans through the door are all going to be given a free Wolfie bobblehead. Wolfie, of course, Walt's nephew, making his debut this year.
Sounds like a good night. Sounds like a real good night, and excited to see the jersey. I know that you've seen them. I haven't seen them yet, but I hear they're pretty cool.
Tickets are available. You can call us at the office at 888-7825 or go online, tickets.wenatcheewildhockey.com. That'll wrap it up for us for this week. We'll talk to you next time. I'm Arch Ecker. This is Bliss Littler. Have a great weekend.
You've been listening to Call of the Wild, the official weekly coaches show of the Wenatchee Wild, a presentation of the Wenatchee Wild Hockey Network.